What's going on, people? My name is Mo, your friendly neighborhood music head, and I still do not have an intro. Today we're going to be talking about DJ Khaled and how his album didn't go number one and he's planning on suing Billboard because of it. And as great as the memes were for the whole situation last month, it seemed like there's a bigger conversation that can be had about Billboard and their album bundles. So today I'm going to be breaking down to you how album bundles started and work, and get to why this is such a big deal with him potentially suing Billboard for this whole fiasco. So without further ado, let me get this started. Over the past decade or so, Billboard has really been shifting how they count albums and adding what's called streaming equivalent. To briefly explain, it takes about 1,500 streams of an album to equate to a single purchase of a CD or a digital copy. So it takes so many of these streams because you're not actually buying the project, you're just streaming it on a subscription service that you pay for monthly. And so the pure sale of an album counts way more to an artist's Billboard numbers. So with people shifting how they listen to music to solely streaming services, and CDs are being pulled from like Target and Best Buy, how are they actually selling pure sales now, according to Billboard? Well, they're doing it through album bundles. Album bundles started back in '04 when Prince put out his project Musicology. He was the first artist to agree with Billboard that if you buy a ticket to his tour for Musicology, you'd get a copy of the album, which counts towards his sales. Now, they got a whole lot of backlash after it because they realized how flawed the program was. Basically, say a couple are really into Prince, and they bought Prince's album when it first came out, and they realize that there's a tour, so they buy 2 tickets, and now they're going to go to this Prince show. Well, now, they've now purchased Prince's album 3 times. It's not just the one time that they can both listen to, it's now the 2 different ticket sales that they also got. So it's not a true representation of who's actually buying the album physically. After all the criticism, Billboard tweaked their methods, and artists have been using this style ever since. You know, artists like Madonna and Katy Perry, and the list goes on of how many pop and rock and roll and hip hop acts have been using this tactic. Taylor Swift had a really grimy approach to this method, where she had a promo with her Reputation album and Ticketmaster when they announced the tour. Basically, her fans had signed up with this Taylor Swift related program, and when you're sitting online on Ticketmaster waiting to buy your tickets to a show, you were given an option, say, hey, buy a t-shirt, you'll move up in the line a little bit. Hey, pre-order the album on Best Buy, you're going to move up a little bit. Pre-order it on Target, you move up a little bit. And each and every one of those pre-orders didn't guarantee you a ticket sale. So there were people who were pre-ordering, and they didn't even get tickets, but they've now purchased the album 5 times. So people were irritated by the whole thing, and critics were in flames about it. And I'd love to just come in here and slander Taylor Swift. However, she was really just taking advantage of a broken system. You know, countless of other artists have tried to do a similar tactic. The iconic JayZ isn't above this practice at all. He had a whole deal with Samsung where they purchased 1 million copies of the album and gave it out to their users. So when Magna Carta Holy Grail officially came out, he was eligible to be platinum the same exact day. In 2017, he did the same exact thing, where he had a promo this time with Sprint, and they bought a bunch of copies of the album, and they had a weird promo with Tidal where they gave all their users like 6 months free Tidal, and they were eligible to make 444 platinum the moment it came out. Obviously, Hove's business dealings aren't as bad as Taylor's, because Hove isn't actually trying to trick fans into buying an album 5 times. However, it's still not an authentic representation of album sales. Another major culprit of this is Travis Scott with his merch bundles. Merch bundles are pretty self-explanatory. If you buy a t-shirt, it'll come with a digital album. If you buy a keychain, it'll come with a digital album. And those 2 things are very different when it comes to price. However, with Billboard's current rules, they both count as a pure sale. Travis and his management had a genius rollout for Astroworld. They had a 9-day span with exclusive merch for each and every day. So one day it would just be dad hats and t-shirts, and the next day it would be ashtrays and sweatpants. He also had these season passes available, where you buy a season pass, and you're eventually given early access to the tickets for a tour you didn't even announce yet, and you're given early entry to the show that you didn't even buy tickets to yet. Travis sold over 500,000 copies first week, easily going number 1. A lot of those to do with those merch bundles. And the second week did over 200,000, which was just enough to pass Nicki Minaj to hold on to that number 1 slot. And quite obviously, Nicki was pissed. She went on a huge Twitter rant talking about Travis and Billboard and Kylie Jenner selling lip kits at the shows, and even their daughter Stormy, which made for a whole lot of great Twitter memes, but I digress. Then came the Nicki Minaj Queen Radio, where she talked all about it and claimed that she deserved that #1 slot. But she was also selling really cheap album bundles, trying to bundle Fifi merch way after the single came out, and some season passes for her tour. You know, it was the right message to deliver about this whole situation, but she was just the wrong messenger for it. Finally, we get to DJ Khaled versus Tyler the Creator. Tyler the Creator went #1 for the first time in his career with his album Igor. Sold over 150,000 copies, and more than 70,000 of that were pure sales because he was doing merch bundles. The album was bundled with posters and stickers and even lawn signs that all said Igor on it. DJ Khaled's album Father of Asahd very narrowly went #2, and if you were just looking at the streaming numbers, he would have gotten a #1 slot. However, because of those pure album sales that Tyler got along with those streaming sales, he ended up getting his #1 slot. So as expected, DJ Khaled was really angry for a variety of reasons.
I make albums so people can play it and you actually hear it. It's called great music. It's called albums that you actually hear the songs. Not no mysterious shit and you never hear it. On your dome.
You know, first of all, his album didn't go #1. And secondly, him and Tyler are under the same parent company with Sony. So I'd like to think that he was mad because him and Tyler were competing with each other when they're making the same people the same money. And lastly, he's mad that his album bundles weren't counted towards his sales. Khaled had an album bundle partnered with Awake Energy Drink, where if you bought a package of the energy drink, it would come with Father of Asahd. Prior to the album's release, Billboard had agreed to count those sales. However, Billboard backtracked after the album's release because they, quote, found anomalies in the data. There were also reports saying that the site that you could buy the energy drink through were telling its corporate members to purchase like 12 packages of the energy drink so that they can propel Khaled to his #1 slot. And they would essentially be giving them company benefits for buying all these energy drinks. Khaled's team is claiming that that was 100,000 copies worth of sales that would have been counted and propelled him to that #1 slot. So now they're planning this huge lawsuit. So I think the big issue here is really with Billboard. Ever since the streaming era began, they haven't been accurate about what constitutes an album sale and what will and will not be counted. The issue of concert tickets being counted as an album sale should be addressed clearly instead of it being a case-by-case situation like it has been lately. Also, the issue of merch bundles to sell albums should just have some clear consistency. Khaled is suing Billboard for going against their word on this whole merch bundle situation, but they shouldn't have said yes to it in the first place. You know, it'd be one thing if he was trying to sell some Asahd-related like action figures and t-shirts, but these were just energy drinks, and what does that have anything to do with DJ Khaled? These bundled albums count way too much to album sales for them to be treating it so vaguely. You know, Billboard is so transparent about so many things about their charts and processes, but this is the only area that doesn't have some clarity to it. I'm going to definitely be keeping track of the situation, and hopefully we get some answers and change methods from Billboard in the coming months. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys think, if you agree or disagree, if you have other points, if you feel like I was leaving something out, just let me know. Like, subscribe, do what you guys do. And yes, thank you guys for making it to the end here, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.